Welcome back to another episode of Music Business Advice. On this channel, we'll be going over a wide range of topics, making your journey from where you are to where you want to be in the music industry just a little bit easier. I hope you enjoyed today's episode.
I don't wanna leave them unsure. I can't be unsure. I wanna feel more. The shit you need is what you should be asking for.
Okay, so let's start with this. What are you excited about right now?
Straight to it.
Yeah.
What am I excited about? Bro, I'm excited about the most simplest of things. Like, I don't think it goes past me just making or helping make the next record, the next big record, the next record that, our team, our peers, like the studio, it's like, oh man, like we have one. Like, everybody gets behind it. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about our partners, making um
Debuts.
their debuts. Really, their debuts. They've been working hard. We've kind of been having to just really push them over the edge. We'll say, right? But I'm really excited about just the trajectory that they're headed. Um, what else am I excited about? Just finishing the year off strong, growing, being a better, artist coach, um, just behind the scenes guy, right? Like better than what I started at the end of the top of the year. So I'm just excited about the small things, bro. I'm not really somebody that I feel like you need to have all this extra big things or give me the work, and I'm just rooted in the work. That's where I find the process. I'll find my excitement there, and that'll be it for me. So yeah.
Talking about let's elaborate more on behind the scenes. Like, do you really like being behind the scenes? Do you feel like that's where you thrive? Like, do you have any desire to not be behind the scenes?
I think it's meant for me. I think that in my own way, I find myself. You end up kind of being in front of everything when you're so deep into your specific role or your specific gig. Like, I stand out in my behind the scenes role. So, you know, no cocky, shit, but I just feel like nobody could do my position and what I do, what I bring to the table, because I just think that what I bring is special, to this culture that we're in. So yeah, I don't, I just walk in my path, bro. I don't try to outshine anybody. I really from jump, like, you know, wow, some of my peers were like, bro, you should really like try to be the artist. Like, from young, I've always gotten that. I know how to make a song. I know how to, just do the whole music thing. But I know naturally, like, how I feel, how I move away, like outside of music. I don't move in a trying to get noticed, trying to get limelight, trying to get my face just to be known. Like, I don't move that way. So I think that naturally, if I'm going to be doing the best that I could possibly do in this, I need to just be keep it natural and just play behind the scenes, work, grind. I pop out when I want, and that'll be it. I don't need to do too much more than that. You know.
Have you always had that mindset towards what you do?
Yeah, I've always have. I think that, I kind of said it before, like, in a way, I kind of hinted at it, but my role specifically being an A&R, you know, also slash like creative consultant, like, I think that you have to sort of play all different positions. You are in a way kind of like a point guard, in basketball terms, you know everybody's position. You know what everybody's supposed to do and where everybody's supposed to be on the court. So in a way, one day I have to play artists in a way, as far as just the
Coaching.
yes, and understanding my artists, right? And then I think also sometimes I gotta play manager. Sometimes I have to play just all different types of roles to
Fake
really
lawyer.
fake lawyer. Yeah, like when you're trying to get something cleared, or when you're doing business with other artists and other teams, like
Platforms,
exactly.
Maybe, yeah.
All of that is business, so I even have to play the business role too. I'm just always either front facing, in the back. I'm doing it all, and I think that going into this, I knew that, and was something that I accepted like naturally. For some of you, that have been following me on this journey, like know that even before really full time A&R, I was doing journalism, which again still comes with being behind the scenes. So again, just naturally, like I knew, hey, you're going to be behind the scenes doing a lot of the dirty work and a lot of the work that, like I said, is front facing. But overall, you need to be able to play both roles and always have an interchangeable, way of going about things.
So you always had that understanding that what you do is behind the scenes and that it resonated with you. It didn't feel weird or, oh, I really want to be front facing in people's faces, be a face. You were, it felt right.
Walked right into it.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't see myself really being anything else but that, Like earlier today, I was talking to Zach, like, just briefly, man, artist development in a way, or just A&R work is so entrenched into, like, my life, my livelihood. Like, growing up, my dad did a million of different things in music, and he used to draw. He was a mathematician in a way, right? Like he just did everything. Former basketball player, like he did so many different things. Music was one thing that kind of like naturally I watched him, like didn't take any gigs being a DJ, but played the DJ role, played the A&R role before anyone ever gave him a title or him ever going for a position. Like he was like, yo, I know all the new artists in the DMV area, all the dancehall artists, all the reggae artists that you need to be put on to. Going to the Crossroads when the Crossroads open, for those of you that know. And every weekend and making his way, politicking,
So he was in the scene.
In the scene, really. Really in the scene. I was telling Zach, like, man, I remember, I was living in Largo in PG County, and at the time he was living in Montgomery County, where we're at now. And he used to come, every other weekend, 50-minute ride, come get me, and we're going to the back in the day they used to have stores where it would be like a one guy, two guys where they're in there selling like CDs, like mixes, like stuff that nobody has in the States, like you could get it here, like I'm sure some cities have New York,
sure.
Florida, big Jamaican culture and big dancehall scenes out there. So for those of you that know, like like you get that burnt CD, all the new artists, all the new music, it was all there. This was like 2001, 2002, and he used to get those, and then even when we would get to the house, like we're up 4:00 in the morning, like he's on LimeWire, just all the new music that nobody knows. The next day he's going to, what we call the sound clash, like with his peers and getting on the tables and so
that's real foundational hip hop type shit.
Exactly. It's rooted in hip hop, exactly. But it's originally started back home in Jamaica,
Facts.
So I lived that, like I watched it from 5 years old, 6 years old, to the point where I got my own laptop and or my mom's computer before I got a laptop and was illegally downloading music, right? Like so, I it's in me, bro. I can't escape it. I couldn't escape being behind the scenes in a way.
Yeah, and I like that. That's a nice segue. Two things. One is A&R, artist development, isn't a title.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. Yeah.
It's cliche or corny as it may sound, it's true.
Yeah. It's the one position I think in, you know, separate from being an artist, like when you're manager, business consultant, um, any position, like I think that's the one position behind the scenes that you just naturally are. You play it. It's the lifestyle, like you said. Like there's no,
because it's not a segmented. Oh, I only help with this. It's not. Nigga, you help with everything related to Nas. It's not just one specific thing. Oh, I only do the songs. Nah.
Some people call it like being a tastemaker in a way because you can't teach good taste. Like something you kind of just like. I mean, you can work on it. You you cultivate it, but it's like
can't just tell someone it.
Exactly. And I feel like some of the other positions you can learn. You can chaperone under somebody.
You can technically teach the basics of engineering, but it's like to get to that next level, it's more of like a sixth sense type thing. And that's an interesting way to put it. Now that I think about it, sixth sense, like with what we both do, like you as an A&R artist development, me as a manager artist development, it's like there's a sixth sense aspect to it. There's an actual skill, but then there's that intangible thing that sets us apart, which is just that intuitive aspect that there's plenty of people that do what we do, but they don't do it how we do it.
Exactly. And that's one thing you'll notice, like you said, and artist development being really a lifestyle, you'll see that every A&R has a different way of doing things. We all do similar things and some of the same things, but everybody has their own separate way of just finding
like
talent.
It's like there's overlap, but there's also things that's specific to each one of us.
Exactly. It's a beautiful thing though. I like in a way we're our own artists. We really like are cultivating a what's the word I'm looking for? I think you know what I mean though, right? Like we're cultivating something within the midst of it all. Like the A&R of Rock Nation, like Lenny S or I'm forgetting some names, but they were cultivating something when they said, yo, we need to get Rihanna, we need to get Cole, we need to get Wale, we need to get blank, they were cultivating something like there was a real like journey with that and with them. They seen something before their debut. And it's a beautiful thing to see. I like those things kind of give me the chills in a way. They make me like sometimes I can't sleep because I'm like, man, I'm doing something so special and I see it before anybody. And that like in a way is something you can't really just sit with and be like,
you gotta see it through.
You gotta see it through, exactly. And you gotta play it that way. So yeah.
What does it really mean to be a good A&R?
Good question. I think it starts with being a people person in a way. You deal with a lot of things that others don't deal with when it comes to dealing with people and specifically dealing with the artist. I think that for you to see these things through, you really have to like be able to stand the ebbs and flows of personalities and really have some level of like
groundedness, balance.
Balance, because there's going to be a lot of things that come your way dealing with the artist that they're not going to want to always record or always see your vision. They may be stuck on how they feel and what they think and what they want to do. You know, artists are crazy.
No.
Right? So it's like they're gonna, yeah, you're gonna have to deal with a lot of mess. Like,
How do you deal with mess? How do you like deal with crazy artists when they want to do something one way and you know that that's not the best thing for them? Like, how do you communicate that to them?
I think I play a good part of. It's like a parent with a like a toddler in a way. Like, not saying any of these artists are children or anything, but I think that you really have to just keep a good balance of like, hey, I'll give you this, but you have to meet me here.
Yeah, fuck with me on this.
Yeah. And also, I think what helps you with that is just your transparency, your honesty, and yes, your patience. Like, you're really going to have to show patience. Really just, I'm going to deal with you and all of your bullshit. Like, there's no other word for it. It's just straight bullshit, you know? And people are really going to admire you for it. Like, creatively and just from a life standpoint. Like, you're going to be dealing, you know, if you're an A&R, you're also going to have somebody who maybe is a manager, has a managerial role. Like, you're going to deal with that personality too, where you guys do two different things, or sometimes some of the same things. You really have to work in unison, even if maybe you have different missions, motives, and all of that. So you're going to be dealing with a lot of just tug and pull, you know, and yeah, like,
Yeah.
it's very just so simple. You know?
When did you? Oh, well, here's a better question. Do you feel like you're jaded or tainted when it comes to dealing with artists? Do you feel like you're like a angry, grumpy type, or are you, like you alluded to, like the being patient, the personal side, being gentle with the artist? Like, how do you like balance the two? Like, this is what I see for you, nigga. You don't even realize what's possible for you, that vision, versus like the I'm gonna slowly push you towards this thing.
Yeah.
Cause that's such a delicate thing that I'm struggling with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your, you know, synopsis of that?
I think, truthfully, bro, it may sound like a cliche in a way, but I try to beat them to that that part of, like, are you sure I can trust you on this, or I can, or, man, believe me, I think this is the way to go. I try to do everything separate from this, say, one entity, and prove myself that I'm right a lot of times. Like, or that my taste is, you know, top tier. Like,
How do you show that to them? You have like an example or like an analogy?
yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of right now. I think, like, I'm trying to think of like something that, you know, I think let's say the creative side. I give them, let's just say Nas, for example.
Yeah.
I think that I try to, man, I'm trying to like find a way to like describe it, but it's really like, I say this, we're so deep into this that it kind of flows so naturally, so it's hard to describe.
Very concrete process.
Yeah.
I remember I had a class and the teacher was talking about how it's a thing called tacit knowledge, and what it basically just means is that when you're a master of what you do, when you're high level,
Mhm.
it's hard to like explain it to someone that doesn't understand because you can't explain the nuance. You just know what you're talking
I
about.
just know
You
it.
can't be like,
Exactly.
so you see right here when I did this? Nah.
Mhm.
You know, like use a basketball reference, like the coach is like looking at the film and telling you, okay, so you see how when, you see how his angles right here and how
Right.
he pivoted right here?
Right.
It's like the coach is explaining a concept a lot of times that he understands it intuitively,
Mhm.
but because you don't get it, it's like, okay, like that sounds right, but you don't know
Yeah.
how much game he's giving you
Yeah.
type shit until you really experience it.
Yeah. I was about to say it just hasn't
Yeah.
struck you yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nah, okay. Interesting.
I'm gonna find a way
You're
to
gonna
answer
spin
that
back
question.
on that?
We're gonna spin back on it. Yeah.
Alright.
I'm gonna find a way to answer that because it's sitting right here. I just, like you said, like, man, I just walk in and like I really kind of don't break it down when I'm doing
Mhm.
it. So it's
Yeah.
it's like
That's
I
not even
gotta,
how it works. It's not even a breakdown. It's a very fluid,
yeah, exactly.
mystical process down there.
Exactly. Exactly. But I'll find it though.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
That could be another episode.
Right. Yeah.
But okay, so what is your favorite part about the A&R process or artist development process?
Mm. I think it's seeing the transformation of like a raw artist, someone who may just be a little bit wet behind the ears,
Mm-hmm.
don't really know how to just be a complete artist all around, and then just see them through time kind of like figure it out
Mm-hmm.
with your helping hand. But oftentimes, like, even when you get to the ending, kind of see them almost do it on their own,
Mm.
you know, in a way it kind of makes your job easier.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really, yeah, just seeing the actual development of that artist. That's one of them. Um, really meeting new people, like, not for nothing. I'm a creature of like, I like experiencing. Granted, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not the biggest people person.
Mm-hmm.
For y'all that know, like, I'm quiet. I don't be having a lot to say. I usually be the quietest one in the room. But I do like coming across people that have the same mindset,
Mm-hmm.
have the same like creative mind, and
Mm-hmm.
just thinking, and like people that have been through stuff too, you know. And whether if you are artists or not, like, I like just seeing like-minded people who are also like getting to it,
Mm-hmm.
however they get to it as well. Um, that's fun. Like, that's really fun. I really
Mm-hmm.
enjoy that. Um, what else? What else? What else? What else?
What would make you feel like I made it?
I think my my I made it moment would look like a bunch of artists, managers, other A&Rs, people that are younger following behind me, like, just ultimately like saying, you know, in unison, like, Dev did this for this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he made, you know, such an impact. Like, I want my impact to be like damn near like it doesn't even need to be said. You could just, you know,
Mm-hmm.
feel it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what real like
Mm-hmm.
moguls, you know, they're a mogul because you just know. Like, nobody has to talk about Russell Simmons, you know, and what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, it's Russell Simmons. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
period. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you just feel that, you just know, and if you don't know, like, best believe you will quickly find out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want that to damn near have its thing. You know, I want that to be a thing. Like,
So just a feeling of presence is not really so much like a material thing.
not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. I mean, just actually, really, truthfully,
Yeah.
it's being able to create more. Like, it's being able to cultivate more, being able to pass down more, it's being able to do all of those things more. Like, again, I live this, so I can't ever see myself stopping. I think in a moment where it's a possibility, like I need to hang it up and go spend time with family and raise kids, and somehow, somewhere, I'm still gonna be active. Like, you're still feeling my presence, you know. So it's that. It's just continuing to teach. Yeah, that'll be like my I made it moment. Like, I made it, but I'll still continue. You know, and if you take financial, it's really just having my mom stop working. It's taking my siblings, well, helping their path, and being able to just allow them to live life freely and experiencing life and not having to worry about, you know, because I know for me, I want to get to that point, but even for them, I just want to allow that to happen for them, you know. Like, I'm the oldest, so, you know, when we lost my dad, like, that was like a way where I took a lot of responsibilities that I didn't ask for. I was ready for it, but I didn't ask for it, and I, from young, just walked a path of, like, I got to continue what he set, because, like, for example, like, you know, I was 10 going on 11. My younger brother Andre, he's 2 years younger, 3 years younger. You know, so he was 6, 7, late birthday. My younger brother Jason, going on 2 years old. My sister wasn't born yet. She, you know, so, like, I was like, I have to continue to be that example and make just everything make sense for them, because they don't have the experience with my dad like I do. You know, so years later, I just want to, with life, make that continue with them. You know? So that's how I'm training.
What do you think is like the next step, the next plateau, like that next move for you specifically outside of the studio, outside of NAS? Like, what's that vision like for you?
I think it's gonna be doing what I'm doing with Nas in other areas, other people. I'm gonna be really, like, even aside from music, like fashion, media, you know, I'm gonna be, like, going into these other areas and really flexing my wings there as well. You know, I think that, yeah, it doesn't stop at music. It doesn't stop at music. I think, like, back to kind of what we were saying, like, if I really want to be that impact, that force in this culture, like, I'm gonna have to do more than just, you know, solely just work with artists and just, you know, like, my mind is bigger than that. My creative thinking is way bigger than that. I can't just, you know, it's gonna start there, but
it's gonna hit from all angles.
It's gonna hit from all angles, exactly. You know, so I'm really just continuing to walk the music down, expand my network, and you know, just expand my mind too. Like doing a lot of things separate from this work, really just trying to better myself so that, again, I can't I can't apply myself to all these things that I really want to do if I don't really come full, you know, like full bucket of water where I'm just going to be pouring a bunch of myself into these things. Like, I need to make sure I have that full bucket of water. So, you know, to really just making sure that I'm whole and, yeah, just making sure I'm ready. You know, I am ready, but making sure,
that you're as high functioning as possible. You have everything to execute the way you want to execute.
Exactly. You know, I'm not somebody that is gonna go into anything half-assing it. You know, so yeah, I'm just gonna make sure I'm ready.
Who's your favorite type of like artists to work with or creatives to work with? Do you have a preference? Whatever that question means to you, take it however you want.
I think creators that are opened, like you can opened and aware. I think awareness is like a really big thing. I think
Self-awareness?
Like, yeah, self-awareness, yeah. Because, you know, you can be someone who's very young or not what's the term I'm looking for? Like,
Seasoned?
yes, like not seasoned, you know, at one portion. But I think that if you have the wherewithal to just be like, you know, I'm not going to stay stuck here. And there's going to be certain things that I can add or take out that can help me not stay stuck here. I think that it's going to start there. And I think that in music, like, if you really want to make it far in music, you really need to be able to see outside of your box. Really, even when it may seem like you're in a small box. Like, I think you need to be able to still have some type of foresight. Like, hey,
like lean beyond your edge.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to be here for long. I think that there's definitely things that I can add to my toolbox to really talk to this next person, appeal to this next demographic, you know. I think those are the best artists and creatives that, you know, I like to work with because there is no limit to what you can do. You know, we can take what you do here and really like amplify it, put, you know, ammunition to it, like, you know. So I think those are like the best types of artists and creators to really work with. You know, just being open and self-aware. You know?
Just open-minded, willing to try new things. You know, not be the type where it's like, oh, I found this works and it's comfortable. You know, you're willing to go that extra mile to deliver that innovative product, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the same for me, bro. Like, I don't like the idea. The idea of just working with an artist that's cool doesn't satisfy me.
It doesn't.
You feel me? Like,
that anybody can be cool in their own way.
yeah.
Like, I look at it like, you know, back in like high school or something, right? Like, you go to this school, maybe you're new.
Should I been there?
Right. You're at a new school, you're a new student, right? And you see the appear to be cool kids.
Type.
And then you see the people who are just really interested in what they're interested in and don't care about none of that extra look cool stuff or appear cool stuff. And they're really the cool ones.
Really cool.
They're really the ones that have more to say and experienced a lot and have something to teach you. Like, that's cool. Like, it ain't just appearing a certain way or having a facade or or feeling like you need to be super,
Like
charming.
high-minded.
Yeah, like, charming. Like you don't need to like appeal to everybody, and
Yeah.
like no, like
Yeah.
I think just being able to, in a way, be a geek,
Mm-hmm.
like
And
be a
just being
geek, and
into what you're into.
exactly,
Like you're in your own
exactly,
world for real.
and they're transparent.
Yeah.
Like transparency is cool,
Yeah.
So
Deep delve into that.
transparency is cool. Transparency is you don't. There is no smoke and mirrors in anything. That it's all very. You don't care how it looks or how it's portrayed or how it's. You just open and free. You move freely. I think like we oftentimes like have these blocks on us and also push blocks. Like it's weird.
What do you mean by push blocks?
Like you're pushing like your own insecurities
Or agenda?
or agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really be the agenda.
Yeah.
Like you push that off what you are or what you consume, where you're mentally at.
And it's not fully aligned or like authentic.
Exactly.
Type shit. Yeah.
Exactly. Whereas when you're just moving freely, thinking freely, like it's authentic because you picked up that energy, you put it out, whether if it was good, bad, or indifferent. Like you were always just transparent still, regardless. And that's cool to me. Like you can't. What's cool about like being a shell of that, or just you know not being whole as a person. Like there's nothing that's cool about that. Whoever said that was cool needs to rewrite the meaning.
Yeah.
But there's nothing cool about that. I think being whole is being transparent, being open, having the guts to just be like, yo, I took an L, or I'm not good at this, or I am good at this, and I can be better at this. And transparency, being whole, being balanced, it's all in the same. They're all relative to each other in a way, And I try to be those often, as often as I can.
What would be your advice to a young A&R or manager that like wants to get to where you're at in your path so far? Like they're literally just starting out. They think this shit looks cool. They like music. They be putting clothes on and shit. And they're like, yo, bro, I want to be an A&R, bro. Like, I'm trying to do this shit.
Yeah. I would say there's so many things.
What are the things that stand out to you?
I think it starts with making sure that the interest is actually rooted in a place where you can't escape it. You can't leave it. I can't escape this because of the, reasons I said earlier. So even when I was doing sports, even when I was doing journalism, when I was going to school, music and developing artists and giving code, as you would say, right, was always at the center. I couldn't escape it. People always put it on me. Pause. So it's like I had to walk in that path, and keep the interest the main thing. I couldn't sugarcoat it. So I would say make sure that your interest is something that you can't hide, or can't escape from. It has to really be rooted in you being able to be like, all right, I'm having a rough day, but I'm still gonna go to the studio.
Facts.
I'm still gonna go to this concert and
Facts.
show face and have this meeting and the whole nine. You know, I would also say really study the craft. Study the craft in a way where you are expanding your palette. You're actually rooting yourself in other cultures in a music standpoint.
Right.
Even past music, like actually in the culture. Go back in time, talk to peers, talk to people that lived before you and experience those things before you. Like, you'd be surprised with how much like older people, you know, back to when I was young, like being around my parents were, 19, 20, 21 when they had me. So they were rooted in culture at that time, in hip hop, in the pop, into pop culture and just everything that was going on at that time. So when I get older and I'm able to understand it and I'm experiencing, those things as a young kid, like I'm hearing the conversations that they're having with their peers, my uncles and aunts and so on and so forth. So then it gets to further where your walks of life is, okay, I'm going to the barbershop now and I'm having barbershop talk and I'm having conversations with my grandparents about this and, like all of these things help, and it's studious in a way, like you can never be like not a student of the game. Like I'm going to be a student at 50, I'm going to be a student when I'm at old age, still trying to, learn and teach, So everybody that teaches has to at some point be a student. So really like learn and experience what you're getting into as well and study. I'll leave it at those two.
Was it always like that for you? Like, were you always a student, if you're being honest? Like, did it just start out as like these songs are cool, and then it progressed to, like he made the beat? Like, what was that process?
It was really being a student. I may not have thought that I was being a student.
Type shit, but that's what essentially.
But that's what it was. That's exactly what it was. I used to be very big on like just seeing how people reacted to music, like, or just even having the conversation of music. Like, again, watching your parents talk about, man, that verse and that song was this, that, and the third, and how you breaking it down and how it really affected somebody that you care about, somebody that you will say, yo, they have great taste, right? Like, that in itself was like a teaching moment, and then it just naturally passes down to you, so yeah, it's like I said, at that time I couldn't really describe like how I was learning or how I was a student, but your experience is the teacher in that way, and then I think that the more your interest grows, and the more that again you experience your own, interests, right? As your interest peak, you just want to learn more, and go back to old film and stories and books and do the whole research, the whole nine, and also still create your experiences while you're doing that as well, because we all know that our experiences really be the biggest teacher, the biggest lesson. So create those experiences while you're also still doing the tangible, just look up this, find this, read this, search this, Google this. We had the benefit of like the internet while it was still kind of, well, 90s and the 2000s, like it was what it was, but we were still having its fundamental stages. We didn't have social media, so it was kind of like you still had to do some of the digging, some of the figuring it out.
Yeah.
And I think also like with the experiences, I'm seeing like a conversation of like everybody's talking about like, how certain regions may have an effect on something, or like all of that, regions and just all that mess. Like, it just plays a part, and it's an experience. So yeah, just live really, like I can't say no more than that. Just live.
What's one of the biggest misconceptions about what you do?
That I don't do anything. Like in a way, like that I don't do anything, that I really just like tell somebody, hey, like you should do this, do that. Like they don't know like what actually like really the steps behind it all. Like,
Yeah.
in fact, let me use that opportunity now. It's like, let's just say, or you give me like examples of like what happens when you have to do this, or what happens when you need to get this done, or
Okay.
like steps, and I'll tell you everything that I have to do in those moments.
So you're about to release a project with Nast.
Okay, so 9 times out of 10, the base of it, you're going to be finding the inspiration, the sound, cultivating the sound. You're going to be working hand in hand with him or her, but in my situation, Nast, with production, taking, like, you're with this person every day. I'm with Nas every day, so I see his life and vicariously have to put it on wax, right? And then I'm finding production, finding features, presenting it to him. And, hey, what do you think? I think this story that you told me, or your life at this moment is this. So you need to be talking about this. You need to give it like this. People need to feel it in this way. That's like the bones of it all. Then you have to do the work, make the music, and grab the content, shoot the videos. When you do the music, you have to, one, make sure that you are checking, making sure that the production, everybody's getting credited. Everyone's getting their proper royalties and their proper splits, all the back and stuff. Yeah, and then you are organizing everything. A lot of it really be organization. Like you are organizing,
Facilitating shit.
Exactly. A lot of it, you're gonna have to be pushing a lot of things that
Spinning different plates.
yeah, and put people in position to ultimately get the project done. Then you have the project done. You have all of the things that will go out to the masses done. And then you have to make sure that, depending on what tier you're in, clearances and samples and the features got paid, and this is ready for radio, and this is ready for sync licensing, and this is ready for performance. Then it's almost like you're so hands-on, and then you're still hands-on, but you get farther away from the music
To promotion.
to everything else
But the music.
but the music.
Yeah.
So then you're building up a tour,
Yeah.
building up a rollout. How are you going to present the music to the masses, right? So if it's brand partnerships, if it's where are they going to be just solely just showing face, right? Like, who are they going to be aligned with? What are they going to be doing along this releasing of the music?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that you can, when you listen to it, you fully understand it. It fully just works, and everything makes sense when you're hearing the final product.
Right.
You know, trying to think what else. What am I missing? Anything I said that night?
I mean, let me just think. The outline would just be pre, during, and post.
Yeah,
So,
literally.
the pre-release, I guess what you said, the production, stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
the back end, then during, you have promotion, sync licensing, you touched on that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What would be more stuff, I guess, that would be considered like post-release? Yeah.
Further, just making sure that the music is still spreading, it's getting across new ears, new listeners. Making sure that you're at a different place than when you started.
Mm-hmm.
You know, making sure that the music, the moment, everything that you put into that moment ends up being a moment. That it ends up being spoken about going forward.
That it doesn't just like die.
Yeah, exactly.
Abruptly.
All that hard work, all that money, all that time,
Yeah.
like it actually like lives, you know, with the people that, you know, love it. Because again, I think that also you shouldn't just do all of that and think like, oh man, we're gonna touch everybody, we're gonna reach everybody. Don't think like that. It's never gonna work. Just focus on who is there for you, for that artist, and for, you know, the team, and what you guys represent. Making sure that it's being put out to the world in its best way possible, and yeah, simply put, and also like you are the checks and balances of your artist. So you want to make sure that their idea, when you guys are at the bare bones of it, is complete at the end. In a physical form and just through the music, you know, in a felt form, you know. So that song where he or she's not talking about much, when you guys were adamant on speaking about this, that thing, and it doesn't talk about that,
Might have to scrap
it, put it away, don't put it out. It needs to work for something else. You need to really, I mean, in a way, be strict in that moment. Like,
quality control.
Quality control. You really are the quality control. Everything has to be quality. It has to make sense. Otherwise, it won't make sense.
Facts.
You know, so that'd be the biggest thing.
And to wrap this up, what would you say, like, what should people be like looking forward to soon?
Double M and the people that come to Double M, they're leaving out of this place with a good product. They're a better artist than when they came. And that's through the 80 team, that's through the engineering. And Nash B really becoming even just more of a generational artist than what he already is. Really being the #1 foot soldier for Montgomery County, Maryland, and this area, who hasn't really ever had someone
wave that flag,
wave that flag, exactly. Really put their foot in the sand and really take that role, you know, and be it, like exist in it. You know, people are from here and they go on and do great things, but no one really wears the role and exists in it. Like just flat and simple. You know? So he's gonna do that, and I'm gonna help him do that. You know, we need that. You know, so that's gonna happen. I'm gonna make that happen. And as far as me, just further expanding. Kind of what I was talking about earlier. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna see me in more rooms and different places and different avenues. Like I'm really gonna be just expanding.
Mm-hmm.
Just leave it at that.
Magnificent.
Coded.
Coded.